What's in the water? What's in the water? What's in the water? What's in the water? Out here in the Ozark, out here in the Ozark.
Welcome to What's in Our Water, a podcast where neighbors, scientists, and anyone who cares take a close.
Welcome, everyone, for another episode here of What's in the Water, a local podcast based here in the beautiful city of Ozark, Missouri, on the banks of the Finley River here in the Ozarks. And I'm Scott Frazier, your host. I grew up here in Ozark. I'm a 1986 graduate, also a 1991 graduate of Missouri State University. I've been in the water and wastewater business for over 30 years now. That's right, I am old, and I'm sorry, but I had some grandkids show me how to use this technology so that I could bring this podcast to you. And so let's get right into it. What you're looking at here right now, and if you're listening, I'll try to explain it the best I can, is a 1941 aerial view of the area in Ozark that's Hartley Road and JJ. And this, we're looking at McCracken as it would come around and merge into US 14. I believe that's the case, and I'm going to blow this up in a second, but I want you to look at that indention. This little spot in the field we've been talking about has been around a long time. And we'll blow that out. And here it is again, little zoomed out view. You can see the square. And you see how it kind of came up the hill there and around McCracken and came up here around. I believe that's the case. Could be wrong on that, but could be right. So let's go to present day, at least to April 21st, 2025. And those of you that are listening, what we are looking at right now is an aerial view, a satellite image of the City of Ozark water and wastewater plant, or I should say the wastewater plant, the sewer plant, the POTW. Now, got a field over here adjacent to the POTW, and I'll point out here there's a square here that actually this is the City of Ozark's property right here where the plant's at. On the outside of the fence over here is this property is deeded to Scott and Naomi Blue, and their land is permitted in the City of Ozark's state operating permit so that they can land apply sludge here at the appropriate and managed levels. But what I'm seeing here when I pulled this up was a little shocking to me is that outside the plant here, you're going to notice, just like me, we've got sludge being stacked in piles. And I'll bring up our measurement tool here just to give you a feel what this maybe how far apart along this thing is. About 10 meters. Okay. And here's what it looks like on a different day. Get out of that right there. You can see it's this little, it's like, I would call it a wet weather pond or maybe a drainage pond. It really only has water during wet weather events or if there's something being put in it. Most of the time you'll see it's dry. I want you to listen, if you're listening to this and you're interested, this is about information. So go to Google Earth yourself, do yourself a favor here and push Control H and you'll see a timeline pop up. And so this is dated, as you can see, April 21st, 2025, less than a year ago. And we also, looks like we got some storage going on over here. And so this type of solids are a little bit different to manage, a little harder. These have to be disked into the soil versus the old way where you could just land apply that. But we're going to explain those differences. But you can't store sludge like this out on the ground. At least, somebody wants to check me on that. I don't believe that is the case without it being covered and in containment, and probably not right. I don't know if this is considered the waters of the state of Missouri or not, but this certainly is. And this is not contained. It looks like here, if you look at this is almost in this man's backyard. I'm going to try to go get some interviews from these folks. I have had some communication with the Smallwoods here, and I'll report back on that, but I want to respect their privacy. But it is public information that in May 24, he did contact DNR, and they came out and did an inspection, and you can read that. So nothing I'm saying is not what's in the record, okay? But the inspector didn't I guess, take the time to look at maybe these aerial images, but I want to point out a couple things here. So you can see the concentrated solids that they would make here. This is an oxidation ditch, is what they call that with this. This is an old design. There's aeration in this, and also in this basin over here, there's some selector tanks right here for anoxic oxic zones. And then these are clarifiers where these solids would settle. But after they settle, they're returned over and over again. And these are live microbes, live bugs. Keep that in mind. And they accumulate them. They try to get some water out of them. They put them over here in these also are uncovered structures, but you can see the little backhoe goes in there, picks it up, loads up a truck. And they carry it up outside of the plant, outside the gate that's locked all the time. I cannot get into this plant, actually. This is giving me a different viewpoint to be able to see this. I actually don't need to go necessarily to understand the process, but I do need to go to be able to view the records. And I'd like with the mayor's permission and the alderman, the chance to do that. But anyway, back to our point. You make those solids, you dewater them, you put them out here in these things, you get at the backhoe out and load them up, you drive them out the gate, you take a left turn, you go right over here and dump them. And you got cattle out here grazing around on it. This guy here, he's going over to, he's like, what's going on over here? Some more over here, it looks like. I mean, this is right outside this poor guy's fence. I can't imagine what it must be like for these folks when the odors do pick up. But I wanted to bring that to your attention because this is permitted. This is part of the permit. So we've established that. This is all public information. Now let's go back out here to that aforementioned site we've talked about in 1941. And let's go back out to it here because the city bought this property. We've talked about this before in 2008 or 2006 rather, but they started construction. Looked like 2008, but it's a little depression right here. So if you go back to that 1941 shot, I thought it was interesting, at least, that is actually still maybe showing up there like that. But anyway, they acquire this land. In 2008, they get under construction. And I don't know, I'm going down into, I don't know what this little square is right here. What was the purpose of this? What were they digging another well? I'm not sure. But something, there probably is a construction project maybe on this, right, for the county. This is a major excavation, and they've dug out this big hole. In fact, I'd say, if I didn't know any better, I'd say Ozark had been hit by a meteor. And after that happened, the aliens took over. I don't know, but this, I just, again, I'm asking some questions, and instead of getting answers, I'm not getting any. This is 09, 010. And at some point along the line, the city fathers decide, this is going to make a heck of a sludge site. We got a big hole out here. And it looks like they filled it over time. Maybe. Big. So that's as we go through it. That's today. It does look like it's leveled out some, maybe. I don't know. There's some trees maybe planted. Or those trees? Yeah. So, there's a perimeter on it that's somewhat intentional. You come in, there's a road. You come in, you drive in, drive out. Tracks all around it. Same over here. Now, there is some sticks and rocks up here that sort of conceal that. So if you drive in, you might look at that and turn around, but you need to drive in and go all the way back and down in here. Well, somebody in Ozark ride their bicycle up there and send me some pictures. I'm going to try to get up there. I'm unfortunately tied up in Texas and out treating some water this week. But wanted to get this episode out and apologize again for not getting more. I'll try to be at the next alderman meeting to report on that. virtually online, because those are always online now. But thank you so much for your time watching. I'm sorry for the people listening. I do a horrible job of explaining this. But just go to Google Earth and pull up your own property just for giggles. But this is amazing and deserves some follow-up. And I think somebody maybe with the smarter than me on the rules could give us some definition that if you're allowed to stack solids outside your wastewater plant over on the ground like this, I don't know if you can or not. I don't believe you can. Draining off. This guy here, he's probably got the best tomatoes in town. I don't know. All right. Well, thanks for listening. Have a great week, and we'll see you here on the next exciting episode of What's in the Water.